you see the title? We are here for a good one today. Y'all know me, man. Listen. We are here. Just like every other Saturday until episode 1000 releases. The countdown to episode 1000 here on the channel, where I come on here every single Saturday until the episode comes out. And we'll be talking about some of my favorite moments in the series and why that moment means so much to me. And if it's a moment like last week and this week that has stuck with me for so many years, why it is a moment that has stuck with me for so many years. Some of them will be thanks to hype, thanks to emotion, thanks to how they helped me personally. And in this case, it was just another one of those magical and beautiful moments that made me realize the beauty of storytelling and how promise and payoff really gives you the most euphoric of moments when experiencing any type of story. Because when I first got into One Piece, I was still new to the anime and manga game, and especially when it comes to storytelling. Very new across the board. I'd always known that I wanted to write in some sort of capacity, but this story really made me realize just how badly I wanted to tell a story, man. And when you got a moment like this, when something like this takes place within your story, that gives you so many feelings of both hype, but also just seeing this character flourish before your very eyes in a way that just makes you realize this series is truly something special. If it's able to give you a moment like this, that seems like something so minor, but it truly takes so much patience to be able to pull something like this off and have it feel so natural and right of like, yo! Because when you look back at the course of the story up until that point, the first time that made me realize just how big the world of this series truly is when we got to Loguetown and we got to see returning characters for the first time. Buggy, Alvida, and these characters like, yo, characters can come back and become more important. So it already started setting up the stepping stones of like, hold on, this man's setting up some major key components very early on for what's going to happen later. And then, of course, that's without like the foreshadowing that we'll get years later. But I didn't know about all that. I didn't know about Laboon and Brook. I didn't know about Rayleigh and Jinbei and all that stuff. So as the arcs went on, and you see certain things get payoff, right? Even especially in Alabasta, with a moment that I most certainly can't wait to talk about in this series, in the Sign of Friendship, you know, throwing up the X and whatnot. That moment is anime and manga to me, right? But in that arc, in chapter 174 and episode 108, there was a moment that was built up for so long, and when it's shown, and when you see it, and you realize all that it took to get to that point, you just can't help but be like, this is my series. This is my series. Why is that? Because when you think back to Little Garden, and you remember that little small sequence with Mr. Zero talking with Sanji, and Restaurant Lick Rap, and how none of the Baroque Works members ever saw Sanji. And so when you come back to Alabasta and bring that thing full circle, and you see Crocodile get not only bamboozled by Sanji, he's like, yo, it's this dude again? Like, what in the flying flower is going on here? And it just caused for such an amazing, amazing moment. Like I said, there was so much euphoria, because you're like, yo, this man Oda, oh my god, Sanji really did never see the Baroque Work members. Crocodile never saw him. Out of all the people that were in prison here, Sanji's not there. And it's the way that he did it. The way that he outsmarted him to get on the other side of the bridge and made him believe that he was the one that was running off and caused Crocodile to chase him. So when the bridge breaks and they look behind them and all of them are dying, Sanji looks at Vivi. He's like, yo, princess, show me the way. I'm Mr. Prince. Let's go. It causes for amazing moments, man, because not only is it showcasing the ability, the patience of this author to pay things off all the way back then, and shows the attention to detail for those small little moments that you may think at the moment are very small and minuscule and something already epic. Like that little garden one was already epic by itself, but then you put this on top of it, and it's like, dude, this is another level. It's another level, man. Like the ability to tell a story. Because the thing is when things start connecting and things start popping off in terms of, like, it could be a moment like this of like, yo, something that has been, you know, sprinkled in, but when you see the end of it and you see the journey behind it, you're like, oh my goodness. And that this was really my first moment that I felt that, because up until this point, you know, there were so many incredible moments up until this point, and moments that sold me forever, right? But in terms of getting large scale payoff and a character moment, and a character moment outside of the main character in Luffy, right? This is Sanji, and Sanji is one of the main characters. But to have him have such a major moment against Crocodile, and it was clearly built up to where Oda was like, all right, yeah, we're going to wait till we get to here. And the Rain-Based Cafe already by itself is one of my favorite stretches of chapters, both on nostalgia and just of how well written it is, and the intensity and just, a true showcase of so many things that make the series so great. But it's this moment, man, the Mr. Prince moment, that always gets me to when I think back, because I love solo Recon mission characters. There's a reason why my name is King Recon, first and foremost for the Recon armor in Halo, but also because I love characters that go on recon missions. I love espionage. That's why Metal Gear Solid has remained such a favorite for so many years. Love me that Solid Snake greatness. And so when you have a character in One Piece, that's why I've always loved Sanji, bro, because this man is the Solid Snake of One Piece, where he's the one that sneaks around, gathers info, and does this type of espionage stuff. So when he did this for the first time, I mean, I was in full-blown tard when I was like, that's my dude. That's my dude, Mr. Prince. And the way that he's had so many other moments like this throughout the story, but this was the first. This was the first, the one that really opened my eyes to the capabilities of One Piece and the capabilities of Ichiro Oda to pay off these promises that he sets up earlier on. Even though you don't even know these promises are being made. You don't know. Like, whenever Sanji's talking to Crocodile, you don't know there's a promise being made there that there will be payoff to that moment. And it's little small stuff like that. And then that, and the sign of friendship. And then you continue on from there, and you see all these moments that are getting payoff. Laboon and the Going Merry sequence in Water 7 and Usopp. And it's like, you start getting all these things back to back, and then it starts clicking in your head like, nothing in this series is put in there for no reason. Something put all the way back during East Blue can pay off all these years later. And the moment that made me realize that in terms of character moments was this moment with Sanji, where I was like, oh my goodness. And it'll always stick with me. It'll always be a moment that's special to me for a plethora of reasons, right? Just in terms of just hype and just such an epic moment like that. Yeah, Sanji, son. With the Mr. Prince greatness, and especially now with context, right, of what we have. But this moment will always be special, man. It'll always be special, especially to me who wishes to be in this field. It is one of those moments I always look back on and be like, man, I want to give the reader a moment like that. Like a moment of payoff where they didn't expect. Of like, yo, I sprinkled this in right here, but it's going to get major payoff later on. And I know it is a storytelling tactic that you'll see in a lot of stories. But like I said, when I first saw this within One Piece, I was so new that, and the stories I experienced up until that point didn't really have something like this. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness. And it is something that has kept me a fan for so many years, because when you get so many of these in a row, when you get so many promises and the payoff blows your expectations away, and he does this consistently throughout the series. It's like, yeah, you just can't wait to see, like, when stuff starts getting built up, like with the Reverie stuff, for example, you can't wait to see the payoff to that, and you know he's going to deliver because he's always delivered. When it comes to the smallest of moments, the biggest of moments, it'll always stick with you. And that's why I love the Mr. Prince moment, because it made me realize that. And that is the greatness, to me, of this Mr. Prince moment. Shout out to Sanji for being such a beast that he was able to outsmart Mr. Outsmart himself in Mr. Zero Crocodile, son. Like, Alabasta is filled with so many awesome moments, man. So many great and amazing character moments. And this one stands right up there with the very best of them. Love this scene, Mr. Prince greatness. And that's the video for this week, man. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this Mr. Prince moment. I know on this channel, we're all fans of the Mr. Prince persona. So I look forward to seeing your comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what your favorite Mr. Prince moment in the series is. I honestly can tell y'all, I don't even know if this is my favorite Mr. Prince moment. Because there's two others that completely just... The one in the Water 7 Sea Train is so good. But the one in Zoe, son... So it's like, it's tough. I just talked about this one because of how much it meant to me in my first go around in the series, and how much it really opened my eyes to the series as a whole. But those, Sanji has some GOAT moments in the series, man. But y'all have an awesome day. Take care. It was an awesome look back on this wonderful moment. It's a video I've been wanting to make for a long time, talking about the greatness of this moment. So I'm glad I was finally able to do that thanks to this celebration here on the channel. So I'll see y'all next time. Have an awesome day. Let's go, man. My boy Sanji. I'm telling you, the persona of Mr. Prince, bro. Too good. Too good, man.